So, welcome to the lecture one on international finance. And in this lecture, we'll be dealing mostly the basics of the foreign exchange arithmetic. So, we know that the business firms who have to operate their business, operating their business operations, the business firms who have to operate their uh, operations locally is easy. Locally, in the sense that we are in Indian market and we know the conditions of the legal structure, the tax structure, the economic conditions, economic conditions. As far as we do our business in India, we know the legal structure, the tax structure, the economic conditions which prevail in the markets, what are the factors which really affect us, and how we have to defend. As an finance manager, our role is to defend the factors and increase the value of the firm. So, that is the context we normally see in financial management. So, when as a business firm, when we have to stretch business firm when we have to stretch into cross borders in the sense when we have to get into the international trade and international financial activities, then the task becomes a little bit difficult. So when we have to get into the cross national borders, I can say, the when we have to stretch ourselves into the international trade or the finance activities, then the task of the finance manager has to be expanded. The role of the finance manager will be expanded, that he has to manage the international trading laws, the taxation structures, the economic conditions. Suppose we are in India, we know the conditions how our government works. As far as concerned, if you have to open a business in US or in UK or in Australia, you have to see the legal conditions in US, the legal conditions in UK, and the legal conditions in Australia. The same way, you have to see the economic factors which prevail in Australia, UK, and US. So, as a business manager, you have the strong grasp in the local market. But when you get into the international market, you have to be more agile in managing those factors which will be affecting your business. So normally a business firm will be engaging is what? So the import of goods or services, or I can say the export of goods or services. The same way, the firm may be engaging in investing or borrowing from international capital markets. So, one thing is sure, that in India we normally deal with rupee, that is local currency, or I can say the base currency. We have to deal with the rupee. So, when it comes to the import of goods and services, in the same way, export of goods and services, normally when if we have an import of goods of shoes and from the US, then we have to pay them in dollars. So then comes the as the firm has to deal with the currencies of other countries, currencies of other countries. So as a international financial manager, you have to know the strong grasp on the basics of the foreign exchange. So in this lecture, I'll be dealing with the basics of foreign exchange. So what is foreign exchange, or I can say what is foreign exchange rate? See, foreign exchange rate is nothing but the rate of one currency in terms of other currency, in terms of another currency. So we know that, see here, we are dealing only with the currency to currency. A currency is valued in terms of another currency, or you put it like the currency as a commodity. If you put this as an example of an onion, what is the value of onion in Indian rupee? The same way you put it, the US dollar. So we are valuing a currency in terms of another currency. So that is the thing that we have to see. So in foreign exchange basics, so we'll be seeing about the types of quotes. Types of quotes. So we have three types of quotes. One is your direct quote, and one is your indirect quote, and one is your cross currency quotes. Cross currency quotes. So one is your direct quote, indirect quote, and cross currency quotes. So how the direct quote will be? I put it as DQ, direct quote. So direct quote is nothing but the 1 unit of foreign currency. I put it FC as foreign currency. 1 unit of foreign currency and corresponding unit of home currency. Corresponding unit of home currency. So 1 unit of foreign currency and corresponding unit of home currency. So 1 unit of foreign currency and corresponding units of home currency. So 1 unit of foreign currency and corresponding unit of home currency. This is your direct quote. So when it comes to the indirect quote, here you have to see that 1 unit of home currency. So from the context of India, right? From the context of India, I'm talking from the point of view of India. So 1 unit of home currency and corresponding unit of foreign currency. Put it to some other value. So 1 unit of home currency and corresponding unit of foreign currency. That is your indirect quote. The same way in the direct quote we have 1 unit of foreign currency and corresponding unit of home currency. This is your direct quote. So when it comes to the cross currency quotes, when it comes to the cross currency quotes, so we have the both the currencies are foreign currencies. So assume that $1 is equal to I put it pound, right? Maybe 1.9717. So here the both the currencies are foreign currency. I put it FC, right? So this is a basic theoretical part which is given in all the textbooks in your financial management. So direct quote is nothing but 1 unit of foreign currency and corresponding unit of home currency. So this is your left hand side and this is your right hand side. So 1 unit of home currency, sorry, 1 unit of foreign currency and corresponding unit of home currency is for direct quote. The same way for the indirect quote, 1 unit of home currency and corresponding unit of foreign currency. When it comes to the cross currency rates, both the rates are in foreign currencies. Now let us do an interpretation of a simple exchange rate. Suppose they have given you the direct quote. So direct quote, we know that 1 unit of foreign currency and corresponding unit of home currency. I put it 72.10 and I put it 72.16. Right. So this is your direct quote, 1 unit of foreign currency and corresponding unit of your home currency. So we know that the dollar is the left hand currency and this rupee is your right hand currency. Now Whenever you deal in exchange rate, you have to see from two point of view. The point of view differs. There will be the trader or the investor, or we have the banker or the dealer. So we have two types of parties who will be dealing in currencies. One will be the trader or the investor, or one will be the banker or the dealer. Now, whenever you get into the transaction of exchange rates, you have to be more familiar with, we have to just see only the point of view of banker or the point of view of dealer. So from the banker point of view, how we have to interpret the exchange rate that which is given here. So here the banker will be buying dollar at 72.10, okay, and the banker will be selling dollar at rupees 72.16, right? So from the banker point of view, the bank buys dollar at rupees 72.10, and the bank sells dollar at rupees 72.16. So this is your bid rate and this is your ask rate. So the bank will be buying the dollar at bid rate and the bank will be selling dollar at ask rate. So suppose you are a trader and you have, suppose you have $1,000, or I can say $1,000 in your hands. And what is the purpose of having $1,000 in the hand in India where you can't able to spend it? So normally you go to a bank. Normally as a trader you will be selling the dollar to the bank. So when it comes to the exchange rate, you have to see bank. You have to see which rate the bank is buying the dollar. So the bank buys the dollar at 70, which is bid rate 72.10. So you can exchange. So here the bank buys the dollar at 72.10. So automatically you can go and do an exchange. So the bank buys dollar at 70. So you're having $1,000 in your hand. So this can be exchanged. So $1,000, 1,000 into 72.10. So you'll be getting 72,100. So this is the rupee which you'll be getting in your hand. So this is the basic interpretation of your exchange rate that you have to do, right? So here you have to be concerned with the direct quote, indirect quote, and the cross currency quote. So in the next lecture, we will be getting with the working examples. So I'll be working examples. We'll be getting into that. Thank you.